everybody. We're back again.
Hi.
Trans Gurus here. How you doing? It's been a nice hiatus. I think it's like 2 weeks now. But tonight we are going to be talking about a really awesome topic. It is titled "How to Maneuver Life's Obstacles." So, how to maneuver life's obstacles? Well, as a trans person, you know, we're going to be having life obstacles given to us and thrown our way in many different arenas of life in many different fashions, and it takes all shapes and colors and sizes. And you know, for me, I've navigated many different obstacles, and I've kind of recognized like a pattern of what I've done that made me successful going through obstacles, and um, maybe what hasn't made me successful when I went through and I kind of reflected in the afterthought. Uh, One of the very first things that I do when I'm faced with an issue or a perceived issue is I check in with myself to make sure that I am having the right attitude about it. Because um, I need to make sure that I don't jump the gun looking at this with the wrong perspective. Now, and that will determine my attitude and the way that I handle myself, the way I think about it, the way I fuel into my actions and everything, and manifest ultimately the result of what this um, obstacle is and what could come out of it. So before I proceed forward, I check in with myself and make sure that I kind of humble myself, because it's not woe is me, or why is it me? Why isn't it me? Why can't it be the opposite? It's not, oh, how come that person, I don't want to think about all these different things as to why this obstacle is there, or why it shouldn't be there, or why I don't deserve to have an obstacle. I got to make sure that my attitude is humbled, and I correct my ego if there's any there. And I have to, evaluate, like even ask myself questions. So is this an obstacle, or is it an opportunity in disguise? Is where is all the positive in this? Where can I find all the positive in this? And this is where pros and cons list comes in place, where if you're having a difficult time, where I have a difficult time sometimes, certain things in my life go smoother when I am faced with an obstacle, and some things are more challenging. So when I find myself faced with an obstacle that's more challenging, I have to get that list out, and I have to write down what it is I'm trying to accomplish here. And I write down the pros, I write down the cons, I write down my behavior, what's cause and effect, and dwell on it and kind of think about it and chew on those thoughts, and maybe I'll be able to think with more clarity as I continue to work that Rubik's cube of a problem. It's like a math problem. You gotta figure it out. And in the end, I'm gonna go through obstacles regardless in life, and I might as well capitalize off of them and look at it. I choose to look at them as opportunities in disguise. I choose to look at it as that person that's giving me a tough time. They're my angel, even though they're talking down to me, or they're maybe, one time I had a boss that talked down to me, and I had a moment of weakness, and I responded back in a negative way towards them, and it wasn't what I was trying to accomplish in my overall timeline in my life that I was trying to. In that season of my life, I wasn't trying to cause chaos or havoc to my life or bring in drama or anything like that, and that was an obstacle. The person that was doing that to me, and then also my response. So I wasn't, that time, I didn't check in with myself. I didn't have the right attitude, but I figured it out, and I had help, and I was able to, evaluate and assess that moment. And then it was a blessing in disguise. And I saw that person turned from the devil to an angel in disguise, because they taught me a very valuable lesson that I take more depth as a human being now, because I chose to learn from that experience instead of just be a victim of that experience. Now I'm able to be a leader that got through that obstacle. And because I've overcome that obstacle and that rough terrain, and it was an unbeaten path that I never had before. So it freaked me out. I didn't know what I was doing because I was unfamiliar to it. But now, because I overcame that and I went through all the motions, I went through all the hard work that I needed to do to get through that obstacle, I turned it into a blessing. I turned it into a lesson. I turned it into something that carries with me forever. I turned it into a nugget of wisdom that now, when I am faced with a similar situation in my today's life, I'm able to tap into that memory and use that to help me get through the thing facing me now. An example, I guess that's one of the best ones I could give, but it's all relative to what you're dealing with right now, and attitude is definitely the most important key to that. It's going to make or break. So with that being said, I would love to hear Ella. Ella, you have, as I've said before, you have a business to run. You have all these different places you have to go to. You have maybe for correct me if I'm wrong, but is there ever an obstacle that you're faced with while you're trying to travel and navigate all these different countries and navigate all these different cultural personalities? Do you ever find yourself in a rock and a hard place trying to figure something out, or is it all smooth?
Nope.
Oh, I thought maybe it was all smooth and nothing ever gave you an issue at all. But tell us, educate us, please.
Okay,
One of us.
you are so right. There is not a single day in my life that there is not some kind of obstacle is coming my way. So there are small obstacles and there are huge obstacles. And the first thing you have to do, actually, you said that word, is perception. Look, where are you going? All the time. Analyze what's going on, and then try to understand something. There are things you can change and things you cannot change. There are things that they are so welded that in place, and it's the law. You cannot change those, but you can get to your objectives. You can look at the challenges that you get and how to get to where you want. And I think there's a word which is very important when you have challenges and you have issues and you have positive things too. It's called perseverance. It's called never give up, and try to find the best way to get there. I mean, just this week and last week, I've been dealing with quite a lot of issues. Believe me, I've started a company just not too long ago, which sells products which, some people consider them to be a little bit out of the ordinary. So you get all kind of slums in the face and from very huge companies. But it's fun. It's fun to go, and it's fun to challenge those people, challenge yourself, try to get perseverance, get where you want to go. These are your challenges, because if you do not fight, if you don't go through what you really want, you'll never get there. It always starts one piece at a time. You can only move one mountain, and believe me, everybody can move mountains. You can only move a mountain one step at a time, one little stone at a time. Don't try to do everything at one time. But perseverance, perception, very important. Power, empower yourself. I think these are, important things for anything you do. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have as transgender is the change, is actually the transition. Everybody, every single one of us, before the transition, saw this huge issue of transitioning. Everything was difficult. Everything was, looking at yourself in the mirror was already a disaster. Dysphoria was coming all over the place. I think we all remember that. And then we put ourselves together and we became the people that we wanted to be. The people, our true selves coming out. Our butterflies coming out. I mean, life is full of challenges. And believe me, I had many because I've been in many countries. And sometimes I have to deal with something, and it is perception of others towards me because I have always been the eternal foreigner. Everybody looks to me like, oh, you're a foreign person. How come? Foreigner. You're an alien. That is difficult sometimes. Integration. Be part of what you do and believe in what you do. And perseverance gets over all these things. But I've been a foreigner in every single country I've been. And now when I go to the country I was born in, I'm still a foreigner because I've never lived there, But that's normal. That's life. And, make the best and maneuver, go. If you cannot go forward like this, go around it. But get to where you want to be. And where you want to be, there's only one voice which tells you that. Your heart.
That's right. Oh my gosh, Ella. That's awesome. That how you just
That's
close
me.
that, there's only one voice telling you in your heart, but it's like there's only one voice that's going to encourage you. There's only one voice that has any real say into you overcoming that. That's amazing.
Yep.
It's got to be a quote.
Well, this is my little bit of my 5 cents of ideas and thoughts. Love you. Give you back to you, Christian.
Love you too, Ella. Thank you for sharing. That was really insightful. Like talking about never giving up and having perseverance and saying that it takes time. It's not going to be instant. It's not going to be an instant gratification. So, keep on moving forward, find that way, find your will, and, navigating these obstacles over time is going to get easier. But as you get better at it, you're able to then be a teacher. And that's kind of, how I want to transition it to you, Bonnie, because you are, one of the best maneuverers of obstacles that I know. And it's obvious that your leadership in that area, in that arena, it takes on a whole nother level. And, it's obvious through all the examples. I'm gonna let you just go ahead. You go. I'll go on and on.
I'm going to start off. I had a phone call about an hour ago. The subject we're talking about tonight, we decided on that last week. But my son called me up. Somebody broke into his business this morning, and he got a phone call on the police and people working there, and he had to go there. And they busted the back door down, and they stole a bunch of money, and they busted one of the walls to get into the business next door, and he had to deal with all that. And he got the door on the back boarded up, and he got the wall closed off, and the money that's gone, it's gone. But he met with the police, he did everything, and he called me today, and he says, listen, I want to thank you. And I'm like thinking, wow, somebody broke into his place and he's thanking me. I had nothing to do with that break-in. Anyway, he said that you taught me in life to see things as obstacles and to overcome them. And even though he had that issue today, he stayed in a good mood. He got it all fixed. Everything was taken care of, and the police, the door boarded up, and now he's got estimate people coming out for putting out a new metal door on the back because that's what they ripped off. But anyway, my point is, he said, thank you for teaching me that, because today I had a good day and I'm having a good day and I'm going to continue. And he says, you're the one that taught me to look at things like obstacles that I can overcome. And I overcame something today and I'm having a good day. And instead of letting it destroy my day, I still had a good day, because any way you look at it, what happened, happened. We can't rewind the clock. So why not just move forward? And that really, I mean, doesn't get better than that. I mean, as far as stuff. And to explain a little more about what we're dealing with is, it's all about perspective. When something comes at you, you can see it as, oh, this is unsurmountable. Or you can say, I can do this, and give it your best shot. And if you go at it with a positive can-do attitude, you may not accomplish it, but you'll get a hell of a lot further than if you go at it with a negative attitude. Give you an example. Let's say you have to go out there and clean your car. Oh, I don't want to clean my car. I hate having to do that. It's such a chore. Or you can say, I can't wait to get out there. My car's going to look like brand new when I get done. And I'm going to, every time I get in it and drive, I'm going to feel like $1 million because it's nice and clean. Which way are you going to get a better job? The one where you hate to have to do it, or the one that you do it because you want to do it? Theoretically, you don't have to clean your car. But if you feel a need that you have to clean your car, clean it with a good attitude as opposed to cleaning your car with a negative attitude. Everything comes out better. And that's the same exact thing whether you're at work, whether you're off work, whether you're dealing with people, whether you're whatever you're dealing with that's coming at you. If you can have that positive can-do attitude and see things, you got to put things in perspective. Take something and grow from it and not let it destroy you. Listen, if there's an issue, it's there. It's not going to go away. I mean, you close your eyes, stick your head in the ground like an ostrich and pretend it's not there, but it's still there. So if it's still there and you got to deal with it, then deal with it. But deal with it with a positive attitude. Either way, you have to do it. So anything that comes at you, instead of seeing it as negative, try to find the positive, overcome it. Today, my son felt like $1 million because he went through such a negative experience and he went away feeling good about it. He felt so good about it that he actually had to call me up and tell me. I mean, like, my son doesn't do that a lot, so you got to understand that's a big deal. But what I'm saying is, he went through it and he was elated with himself that he handled the situation and he did it the way I've explained to him to do it, and it worked out and he felt good. And anybody can do it. It's just a matter of attitude, perspective, and staying focused, be in the here and now. And it is what it is, and you can't rewind the clock, so you can't go back and think, well, if I would have done this or would have done that or would have done this, that one. No, it happened. So deal with today. It happened. Get her done and move on. That's my 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
Love it.
When I clean my car, I put on the music, and before I was with somebody, I'd think like, I'm gonna clean the hell out of my car, and then whenever I get some hottie in my passenger seat, they're gonna say, wow, this guy is very clean and organized, and just gonna give a great impression. But anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, when I think about maneuvering obstacles, Raji, you have quite a story that it's astronomically impactful. It's like otherworldly, and I'm so thankful to be on this panel with you, because you have been met with all these different curveballs in your life, and you've blasted them out of the park.
Wow.
And even the ones like, even if you're having a hard time with life comes, and sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, and sometimes that's just the way it is. You gotta put your raincoat on and get through it. But if those moments ever happen to you, I couldn't tell, because you're always so positive and happy and smiling and laughing and always willing to extend yourself to other people to see if they're okay. And I could never tell if you were going through an obstacle or something, but you have always shown strength in dealing with these things. And I would love to hear more about your rendition on it.
Thank you so much for saying that, Christian. And now I really want to go for a ride in your car.
It's not clean yet, so give me a couple days. Take care of it.
all the sweet words and a clean car. I can't beat it. Thank you, though. Thank you so much for saying that. I think that obstacles just are a part of life. It's just one of those things that you have to deal with if you're living here in the third dimension, the human experience. Because I can think about the journey of my life when I was like in elementary school. I had obstacles then. Those obstacles then, to me now, might seem like, nothing. But for a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, it was like a big deal. So, and as I've lived my life, there have been a number of obstacles along the way, and small ones, medium ones, huge ones. But it's certainly been a part of my life. And there's a saying, and actually I think that it's a part of everyone's life. We might not have the same obstacles, but we can all relate as human beings that, if you've been on this planet for a while, you probably had to deal with some things. There's a saying that I've heard throughout my life. It's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with what happens to you. And there were obstacles that now I sit here and I speak about or think about them. And yeah, certainly I'm like, wow, I got through that. Like, wow, I can't believe I made it through to the other side. And I think there's a few things that I do as I've lived my life, kind of learn to help or learn that helps me deal with obstacles when I'm facing them. First of all, I think about all that I've been through. And I say to myself, Raji, if you've gotten this far and you've been through all of the obstacles that you've been through, like, this isn't going to break you. You can find a way. You can find a way over it, through it, around it, somehow. And so that's one thing that I say to myself. Another thing is, sometimes I truly believe that obstacles are really that thing, that fuel that gives us the drive of determination. Because if everything was so easy, I don't know if we'd appreciate the goals that we have and the things that we want to attain as much as we do. So like, you meet an obstacle and it doesn't work out the way you want it. Well, damn it, I want this. Whatever it is, I want this, damn it. I'm gonna find a way. And that fuel of for your determination, it manifests. I've seen it in my life many times. When I wanted something and it didn't work out the way I wanted it right away, I got clever, I brainstormed, I tried to, figure out a way, and I was more determined. And thirdly, I think that there's a magic when it comes to manifestation in the universe. And a lot of times we can perceive for ourselves what we think we want in the way it's supposed to manifest. But what I've found in my life journey is it's a lot better if you put your desires out there, you work towards them, but you don't get attached to the way it's going to manifest, because the universe is magical. And as long as you're doing your part, things will manifest in ways sometime that you will be absolutely shocked at. You won't even believe, like you'll be like, oh my God, I wanted this and look how I got it. So in closing, I just want to say that it's okay to have moments of feeling defeated. I sit here with all this wisdom and I'm saying, you know, this is what I do and that's what I do. But let me tell you, there were moments that I cried in my bed. I boohoo cried in my bed, feeling defeated, feeling like, oh my God, I don't know if I can go on, if I can get over this obstacle or through this obstacle. And that's okay to have those moments because we are human beings. We have many different feelings and emotions and all. So if you need to, have a good cry. Have a good cry. There's been often times where I broke down to build myself back up. So sometimes you have to give into I wouldn't even say surrender, but I would say allow the weakness or your moment of vulnerability to happen. But that doesn't mean that you're defeated. It could just mean that you need to have that moment so you can build yourself up and go towards your goals and your desires. So on that note, I think that's my 2 cents, maybe 2.5 cents.
My gosh, Raji, that was so awesome. I can't wait to rewatch this. I'm going to write every single thing down that you just said.
Oh, thank you. And I want you to read it to me when we're riding in your car.
Oh, I will. I will. We're going to have to include that in one of your books one of these days, you know?
You know, Christian, I got a really nice stereo in mine. You can listen to music and clean it anytime you want.
Well, I'm going to have to listen to music while I'm cleaning the stereo. Yes, definitely.
No, not the stereo. I'm saying you like to listen to music when you clean your car. Well, I can put out some really good music if you want to do some cleaning.
I would definitely do so. I'll be there. Name, date, and time. I'm there. But, yeah.
I'm gonna put on the music and you can come clean my house.
And I'll do that too.
And
OCD here. Here. I got it.
And I'll sit and watch you and sip on something delicious. Now, let me.
Yeah, and then I'll come over and feed you grapes sometimes. You know, with a palm leaf.
Now I'm blushing.
Yeah,
I've already
Cleopatra.
blushed and my whole face is red. But anyway, Raji, you know that whole that you know everything you just said, that completely resonated me on like, you know, like that was like a other dimensional type of like, you know, resounding within like that. You know that you're able to like express your vulnerabilities despite like how you said I have all this wisdom, but don't let me fool you. That is really powerful because some people sometimes they go through life and they try to measure themselves to next to this person right here, and then they don't measure up, and or oh, you're not measuring up to the ability to overcome obstacles as this one right here, and you're only at this level right here. And then people start to down themselves and attack themselves, and then you become your own worst enemy with your mind chatter. And it's like, oh man, like that is totally counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. And you know, expressing that weakness sometimes that's beneficial. Sometimes we see where we need to release pressure and stress, and it's a reliever, but also it's an indicator that you're a human being, and these moments are just going to happen. That's just the way it is. It's no right or wrong about it. But you know, when you stub your toe, sometimes you scream, and that's kind of the same thing. You know, anybody that holds in a sneeze, you're immortal. Okay, I don't know how you do it, but sometimes you just have to let that out. But anyway, I'm gonna have to follow up with you on that because that was a wonderful outline of that, of what you had to say with maneuvering. I'm sure you got a lot more to say on that. But you know, you ever hear of the saying about slow and steady wins the race? Well, Shannon, whenever I think of you, like with every time that we were inside a group, and every time that there's a issue that presents itself, and um, you know, whenever you're able to provide your valuable feedback, I kind of like to switch it up a bit, like not slow and steady, but insightful, cool, calm, and collected is the way that you're going to win, and that's what you've always exemplified in every single one of our meetings together. I don't think I've ever seen you, Shannon, off of your game. I don't think I've ever seen like you like off the beaten path. Like you've always been like level headed, like always balanced out, and always exemplifying your leadership through keeping your emotions in check and being able to lead with it's like a clear cutting picture of what you're trying to accomplish, and then you provide feedback about that obstacle and how to get around it with the utmost clarity. So I would love to hear how you're able to manage that. How do you manage your obstacles in life? And I know that you have so much wisdom and insight, so please let us know. I'll be writing down. Let me get my pad out.
Wow. No, I think we've all offered immense words of wisdom here tonight. And I think this topic is probably one of the most important topics for any human. A big part of our quality of life is based on our ability to maneuver through life's obstacles. And I know in my younger days, it's like as as humans, we evolve, you know, from like in kindergarten or elementary school. In elementary school, you learn basic math. In college, you're learning advanced geometry and calculus and trigonometry and all. So as the human as the human being develops and matures and our consciousness expands, we're then able to contemplate concepts and opportunities and possibilities. And in my younger days, how I explain it to people is I got things done via the bulldozer method, just raw horsepower to get things done and accomplish my goals and maneuver through challenges and obstacles. And I think Raji spoke on this. You know, now I just have an intention and I get the hell out of my own way. You know, the universe is a far better organizer of events than any human. So I've evolved to the point that in my younger days, I used raw sheer horsepower, the bulldozer method to get things done. Now I'm a feather in the wind, and I trust that the wind is going to blow me where I need to go. And with that approach, there are no problems, there are no obstacles. There may be challenges, and challenges, I think a Christian said it, they're opportunities in disguise. So in one of the principles of the universe, the universe strives to achieve balance. And up, down, left, right, hot, cold, in, out, problem, solution. So if we are faced with circumstances that are maybe less than desirable, we find ourselves in a position that's less than desirable, our greatest asset is a cool, calm, and collected head. If we remain cool, calm, and collected and relax, the solution will come to us. That's what's known as a response. If we react, our body releases other chemicals, fight or flight, and adrenaline and other chemicals that actually shut down the thinking process, and all energy is diverted into a physical response. So if we remain cool, calm, and collected, our body will dump endorphins and serotonin and other chemicals into our body that actually help us think better. So in a problem situation, just sit down. I know that in my business, if a problem occurs that is, you know, not good, I sit down, regardless of the problem. I sit down, and I just kind of don't think about it, and the solution will come to me. I wrote a few things down here. See, humans, we're instinctively problem-solving creatures. And actually, I don't know, it was 5 or 6 years ago, I wrote this little saying in one of those magazines, and in the absence of struggle, humans flounder. So we are designed to solve problems. We are designed to, we're logistical creatures, and life actually begins. Embrace life challenges, as this is where life begins. So if you're like in a neutral position, you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing. You know, the comfort zone's a nice place to hang out, but nothing grows there. So I think it was Reggie or Roger or someone said, you know, it's important that we challenge ourselves, put ourselves in situations that are going to require us to think, and then engage our brain and our resources to find a solution. And humans we're actually designed to find solutions to problems. What Bonnie said about her son, awesome, awesome. Character, and I think someone, Christian may have mentioned this too. Character remains steadfast regardless of circumstances. And I think we spoke about this during the early stages of the pandemic, where, you know, it's easy to be a boat captain in calm seas, but the true gifted boat captain will be exposed in a hurricane. You know, so when someone's confronted with a major obstacles and they remain cool, calm, and collected and steadfast and centered, you know, that's the person that you want to look for in problem-solving circumstances. But this is one of the things that I think is just so, our ability to prioritize and then put ourselves in a responsive mode, not a reactive mode. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. There's even martial arts that capitalize on the responsive maneuvers of someone throws you a punch, instead of punching them back, just a slight deflection, and the punch misses you and that person falls to the ground. So there's ways to harness the energy of the universe in such a way that we're in harmony with all things, and therefore we're in flow, and therefore we don't see obstacles as obstacles. We see them as learning experiences, or we learn how to embrace the obstacle as part of our building, a character building. Christian.
Wow. You know, Shannon, that's like how you were able to say that, like, you know, make that comparison to character with Bonnie and then with Raji, how it's a part of our nature to be like problem solvers. And, you know, sometimes when obstacles come our way, I wonder how many people besides myself think, what the hell am I going to do? You know, I don't know what the hell to do here. You know, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the team. I got all these. I could just go on and on and on about this list. You know, like, is it only me? Sometimes, you know, when that moment of weakness comes through, and this transcends every area. You know, sometimes, you know, I guess it's all relative what the obstacle is. Some people's obstacles are probably some people's you know, thing that they take advantage of, or that's their cream of the crop. You know, a broken house is a rookie to home owning. That's their nightmare. But that's a construction worker's dream. You know, like that's, you know, it's all relative. But I guess as we continue to go on, we're going to keep acquiring lessons and get better. And we see these obstacles as blessings, and the people around us that we might perceive as the devil, but they're just an angel that is trying to teach us a lesson. And we continue to expand our human consciousness, our abilities to navigate this world and in a stronger way. And that's what we do as leaders. So if anybody has any closing thoughts on that, anything else?
Yeah, we always want to take inventory of what we got, what we don't got. And resourcefulness is the greatest resource. And if we keep in mind that we have I know I've always had this like vision for myself, and I'm like, it's materializing in front of me right now. If we have an intention and we get out of our own way, and if we understand it, everything that we're going through, good, bad, or indifferent, is actually preparing us for what we've already asked for. Life is a series of lessons. Life is a series of schools. And remember, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I know in my arborist business, there's constantly things going right, and at the same time, there's constantly things going wrong. And it's a balance. So if we have provisions in place and we have polished problem-solving skills, we embrace the problems as just a way of life. You know, it's like you go fishing, sometimes you catch fish and sometimes you don't. And you got to have a rainy day if you're going to have a sunny day. So there wouldn't be solutions unless there's problems. So embrace the problems as a necessary element to experience a solution. And we know when we solve a problem, how we get that like dopamine dump. We feel good when we accomplish something or we overcome an obstacle. We have a feeling, there's a certain feeling that we experience. That's one of those chemicals, the dopamine, that's released into our body that makes us feel good. So the bigger the problem, that means the greater the solution required. That means the greater sense of elation or accomplishment when that problem is solved. Christian.
I couldn't have said it ever. I could not have even said it better. That was perfect. Does anyone else have any closing thoughts? Raji?
I just wanted to say, you know, don't hesitate to pat yourself on the back too. See, sometimes I think we're a little too hard on ourselves. So, you know, if you're working towards a goal and like little by little, you know, step by step, pat yourself on the back along the way, you know, because that self-degrading talk can really hurt us. And so, you know, when you think of something negative, a negative thought, that's okay. Cancel it and replace it with a positive.
Absolutely.
I just did that today.
You did? Yay!
No lie. Wow.
Well,
I'm watching you, Christian. I'm watching you.
Another tip that I have, what I do sometimes, if you really have got, you know, these huge issues in front of you and you know where to start, you know, take a little chocolate, put it on your mouth, and get yourself a little bit sweet. And that, you know, you'll see the other things with another perspective.
I love it.
Chocolate raises it's like a happy thing. It's almost like
Absolutely. It releases your emotions and it helps you.
Yeah, it's like all
Find
positive association.
Yeah.
Bonnie. Well, you're over on this side of me, Bonnie. Bonnie, let's close.
I'm just going to say, you know, you can take a molehill and make it into a mountain, or you can take a mountain and perceive it as a anthill, and the way you perceive whatever the universe throws at you is the way you will respond. And if you go at it with you're overwhelmed, it's going to be overwhelming. And if you stop, you take a deep breath, maybe you meditate, or just do a little visualization, close your eyes and see yourself accomplishing whatever it is that you need to do, and get it done. But what Roger's saying, one of the most important things is when you overcome an obstacle, stick your right arm out, reach around and pat yourself on the shoulder and say, good job. And don't forget to reward yourself, because that's the things that you build in your mind that subconsciously you will revert back to those feelings, those emotions, those accomplishments. It's like a habit. If you know, whatever you do something and it's a habit that you do something and your life can be a habit of overcoming stuff and knowing that you can do it. And doing whatever it takes to overcome it. Like I said, some people do visualization, some people do meditation. Like Ella, she eats chocolate. Anyway,
You
my
can see
point
it.
is, the point is it's all about how you perceive it. You do it, and you do it, and you form habits, and those habits will continue. But don't forget to pat yourself on the back, because if you accomplish something, you don't need anybody to reward you and say, oh, no, you did it for you. That's who you are. But you can still reward yourself. That's all.
Well, I love all y'all.
I love you
Thankful
too.
y'all, have all shared with me certain obstacles, and I've absorbed it like a sponge. And I hope everybody that's watching can do the same. And if there's anything else that people would like to follow up on after this video that we haven't touched on, let us know. We're all open for future topics. If there's something that you want to hear more of, please let us know. And also, we want to hear from you. What was your strategy for overcoming an obstacle in your life? If you want to be as detailed as you want or as skimp as you want, please let us know. We want to know, and we want to share it with everyone that is following, so that we can all strategize together how to get over each other's obstacles. And doing it with friends and doing it with a team is so much more fun. So what do you have to say? Let's hear what your obstacles are. We all have them. Thank you, guys. We love you. Please have a wonderful rest of the evening and a wonderful rest of the week. And we'll see you next time.
See you.